Hi, it's Uncle Larry. Did you know that a lot of what drives your political preferences has to do with your view of human nature? Our political disagreements have a lot to do with our disagreements about how human nature functions. So today we're going to bypass politics altogether and focus in on human nature and find out as much about it as we can in this short space. Now, there are so many perspectives of human nature out there. I just want to focus on a couple, just two of them. The two that I think will best help us understand our political differences. For the sake of clarity, I will call one perspective of human nature the conservative mindset and the other the rational progressive mindset. British philosopher Michael Oakeshott contrasted the conservative view of human nature with the rational progressive view by emphasizing the difference between tradition and practical knowledge on the conservative side and abstract reasoning and planning on the rational progressive side. He believed that conservatives see humans as fallible, limited beings, shaped by history and tradition. Conservatives tend to have a more skeptical view of human nature, acknowledging its complexity, limitations, and propensity for making sometimes catastrophic errors in judgment. They emphasize the importance of traditional norms and institutions in leveling out or taking the edge off all too human errors in judgment. Rational progressives, on the other hand, possess a more optimistic view of human nature, believing it capable of perfecting society through reason and planning. Rational progressives often seek to redesign social structures based upon abstract theories and principles to achieve their vision of a better society. Oakeshott argued that the conservative approach values gradual change and respects the complexity, fallibility, and weaknesses of human experience, while the rational progressive approach seeks to push abstract principles on society, often leading to unintended consequences. So, there's Oakeshott. How about another thinker? In 1987, economist Thomas Sowell published A Conflict of Visions, in which he offers his own explanation about why people disagree about politics. He contrasts what he calls a constrained view of human nature with an unconstrained view of human nature. Now, according to Sowell, those who see the world through a constrained vision of human nature believe that human nature is flawed and doesn't change a whole lot over time, and it tends to lack empathy and is prone to selfishness. No amount of social engineering is going to change this sober reality. This constrained view is wary of the excesses of human nature. People who see things this way believe that most political and social problems will never be solved, they can only be managed. And one of Sowell's most famous lines is, "There are no solutions, only trade-offs." It's pretty obvious this constrained vision of human nature fits in with Oakeshott's conservative mindset, right? On the other hand, people with what Thomas Sowell calls an unconstrained vision of human nature think that humans are moldable and can be improved. They believe that social ills and evils can be overcome via the right legislation. Problems like social inequality, crime, conflict between nations, and poverty are not issues we must simply resign ourselves to. Rather, they are puzzles that can be solved. We need only to say the right things, enact the right policies to effect the appropriate remedies. This vision fits in with Oakeshott's rational progressive mindset. So there's Thomas Sowell. Now, of course, we cannot avoid a religious view of human nature in our discussion, can we? So let's do it. Christian theologian and philosopher St. Augustine also believed that human nature is inherently flawed. But unlike Thomas Sowell, he believed it was because of inherited, original sin. He argued that this sin resulted in a fundamental disorder in human nature, leading to a state of moral and spiritual imperfection. St. Augustine said, "Without divine help, you cannot perfect human nature. Unlike the rational progressive mindset, human beings are simply incapable of achieving moral perfection or true happiness through their own efforts." St. Augustine believed that only through God's grace could humans overcome their sinful tendencies and attain a measure of spiritual fulfillment, but even then it will not be perfect. This perspective tends to favor the conservative mindset articulated by Michael Oakeshott, obviously. So, as you can see, a lot of what defines your political preferences has to do with your view of human nature. Whether your mindset is optimistic or pessimistic. If you're optimistic about human nature and open to change, you may well believe that society can be engineered toward progress. As a result, you may lean towards more progressive political parties. And if you're more guarded, wary, or pessimistic about human nature and believe that you cannot just legislate things of value into existence, if you prefer a cautious, incremental approach to public policy, you may well lean towards small c conservative political parties. So there it is. It turns out your view of human nature has a lot to do with your political preference. Please note I have omitted references to the extreme right or the extreme woke left in this essay because I've done video essays on these subjects before, and you can find them by scrolling down my page on Facebook or checking my YouTube channel. So I guess the final thing to do is to ask a question. What is your view of human nature?